My bedroom, instead of the usual room inside of a house, is a semi-detached room connected to my garage, and not my house. The garage isn't connected to the house either. There is a fence behind my bedroom and garage, with a gap in between closed off by a sturdy gate, which means you could walk the complete way around my bedroom and garage, which brings you out into the side garden next to my house. The other way to the garden is either through the house or past two big locked gates. It was about 1 a.m., and I'm lying in my bedroom watching YouTube on my phone. I was having problems sleeping due to the medication I was on, and I'm usually asleep by 11-ish. It was a very quiet and still night. As I'm laying there, I hear a sudden soft bang against my walls, which continues around my bedroom, as if someone is leaning against my walls for balance, walking around it. I lay there for about 15 seconds, just processing that someone is actually there. I hear this person coming back around to my front door, so I quickly got up and went over to the door to confront this person. I figured there was a chance it was just a drunk guy, or maybe someone lost their cat or dog. That actually happens quite a bit around here. As I got outside, I saw a figure standing outside my door, about 4 feet away from me. I said to him, "What the fuck are you doing here?" The person turns around, and I can make out in the moonlight that he's around 40 or 50 years old. He almost looks like Peter Pettigrew, Ron's rat, from Harry Potter, just a little more clean. He replies in this soft voice, "Oh, sorry, I think I've got the wrong house," then proceeds to scurry up the driveway onto the road. At this point, I didn't think to phone the police, mainly because he'd left so quickly, but also because I was slightly adrenaline-filled and didn't think the police needed to be involved. However, I wanted to make sure that he was gone from my property. I went into our house and got our Rottweiler. First, we walked around the front garden and around my house for a few minutes. I decided to check the street, and I walked left, initially checking some of the other driveways. Then I walked back and went right instead. I noticed one of my neighbor's driveway gates was slightly ajar. They always kept it closed. As I neared it, Jazz, my Rottweiler, got very low to the ground, as if she were stalking something. She let out a very deep but quiet growl. I went into my neighbor's driveway, expecting just to see a cat. But as I looked around the outside of the house, I could see a guy slowly opening a window. He was very slightly illuminated by a distant street light. When my dog noticed him, she started growling with a fierce intensity. She clearly did not like this guy, and that often meant that they were bad news. The man looked up at me and instantly let go of the window. I walked towards him and asked, "What the fuck are you doing here, mate?" Jazz started to become really aggressive. She was barking and pulling on the leash. The guy then ran straight towards the neighbor's fence. Unfortunately for him, the fence is high, and there's nothing to grip onto, and I didn't want to risk him getting away, so I dropped the leash. Within around 2 seconds, my dog was on him. She grabbed a hold of his leg and pulled him down. He let out this scream and tried to get Jazz off of him. I managed to wrestle my dog off of him as my neighbor came out. I quickly told him that this guy was trying to get into his house, and that he was also walking around my house. They phoned the police, who came and dealt with the man, and he was taken away to the hospital to deal with a massive dog bite in his leg. I explained to the police what happened, and then spoke to the neighbors. They told me the bedroom the guy was trying to get into was their daughter's shared bedroom, 7 and 9 years old. I never found out what actually happened to him. I'm assuming he never got charged with much, mainly because he didn't do much. The police came around the street and warned us to lock up and all that typical stuff. What I assumed happened was he went to the wrong house and ended up at mine, rather than theirs. Once I came out and confronted him, he noticed his mistake and tried to go over to the correct house. It seems highly unlikely you'd mix up the houses, but with the way the houses are laid out, I've even mixed them up in broad daylight going to my house. Who knows what he was going to do, or what he was trying to get, but I'm glad I decided to check if he was really gone. This happened a couple of months ago, in February. I'm in northern Jersey, so it gets cold, especially at night. I live on 10 plus acres, and a popular trail that goes through the entire northern part of the state goes along my property. We can't see the trail from our house, and the trail can't see our house. That all being said, it's very private where my house is. I'm 21, female, and I work overnights, so I come home when everyone else is leaving for work, and I'm usually home alone until 6 or 7 at night. During the winter, it gets dark around 5 or 5:30. One evening, I was walking to my kitchen, and as usual, as I walked through the house I looked out at the fields. The side of my house that was facing the fields were all big windows and sliding doors. Pretty much a glass house. I look out, and less than a quarter mile away I see a man walking from one side of our property towards the trail. He wasn't really walking, more like hunched over and skipping. I don't know. Thanks to having livestock, we have binoculars handy to check on them, so I grabbed them to look at the guy. When I get focused on him, he looks directly at me, while still walking/skipping. I'm looking at him, and he's staring back at me with this creepy fucking grin. And we look at each other, until he climbs through the woods and gets to the trail. We no longer see each other. I call my dad, and he says it may have been a coincidence, and he may have truly just wanted to get to the trail. I brush it off, and get some more sleep before work. The next day, same time, I see the man again. This time, I'm not smack dab in the middle of a huge window. I'm hidden, with binoculars, and I focus on him again. I jump back. He's staring right into the binoculars. How the hell did he know I was there? I call my dad. He didn't answer. Everything is locked. You're fine. He's on the trail now, I told myself. It's now 5. Between the snow on the ground and the clear sky with the sun about to fall, it's still bright in the fields. I walk towards the kitchen, and I see the man. He's not walking. He's standing still, staring at me, closer to the house than ever before. I'm freaked out, and I'm pissed, because I couldn't get a thought into my head as to what he was actually doing cutting through private property. And even now, just to stand there, staring. I could see the grin on his face, without binoculars. That's how close he was. I picked up my cell, showed it to him, and dialed 911. He's still standing there. I explain everything to the dispatcher. He's still standing there. Around here, it could easily take a cop an hour or 2 to get here. Lucky for me, it took 15 minutes. The man, still standing, staring. I pointed at the cops coming down the driveway. The man turns his head to look at them, turns it back to me, smiles wider, then fucking bolts towards me, smiling like a crazy person still. Not a genuine smile, with your eyes and mouth smiling. It was a forced fake smile, with just his mouth, if you can picture that. I ran towards the front door and out to the cop cars. They bolt out of the car, and one goes into my house, and 2 go around each side of my house. They caught him and arrested him. They said that when they found him, He was pressed up against the opposite side of the window I was originally standing at. Still smiling. Still standing. I don't know what came of him, but I hope I don't see him again. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. If you would like a chance to have your story featured in an upcoming video, make sure you check out the description for information on how to submit your stories. I hope you all had a great weekend, and I'll catch you in the next video. And just remember, it's always scarier if it's true.